Hello peoples, how you doing today? Welcome back to my reaction channel. Sorry for not uploading anything yesterday. I do have something in the tank that I should have uploaded yesterday that I just didn't because I forgot I even recorded it. I recorded more than a few episodes the other day, so I had a couple in the tank. Or I had one in the tank. And anyway, doesn't matter. You're gonna get a couple now, so here we go. I am reacting to the race to win Staten Island. Now, go follow CPG Gray, go like his videos, and then go listen to Hello Internet, one of his podcasts. I am a Tim. I am a solid Tim. I am a fan of his podcast and Brady. I'm a fan. Go follow Brady Heron. Go follow CPG Gray. Go do all that different type of stuff. These guys are great. Hello Internet's the best. Flaggy Flag is the official flag, and I don't care that Nail and Gear won. Flaggy Flag for life. Anyway, let's watch it. I got about 5 minutes into this video before I was like, oh right, I have a reaction channel. I should probably watch the video on the reaction channel instead of not. So here I am watching this on the channel.
Over the islands betwixt them. Were they New York? Back in the long ago, New York and New Jersey fought over the...
Now, let's listen to his lovely voice and learn something from our lovely teacher, CPG Gray.
Islands betwixt them. Were they New York or were they New Jersey? To determine what was whose, New York proposed a race. All islands that could be encircled in less than 24 hours would belong...
Also, it's raining outside, so that's why it sounds like it's raining outside. Deal with it.
belong to New York. Those not to New Jersey. Staten Island was the big prize, then described as the most commodious and richest land. New Jersey wanted it, and given the island is huge and back in the day boats were slow, New Jersey thought the island...
A race around an island to claim the island. I suppose that's as good as a way as any to try to, like, stake a claim on a piece of land without resorting to violence. Like, if you can't resort to violence, you kind of have to resort to, like, games almost. Like, tests of skill and things like that just to see who can get the thing. If it's two competing enterprises and they can't actually fight with money or with strength of arms, you almost have to do it with games and things like that. So a race isn't the worst way to try to win land, I suppose. It's a bit weird though, thinking about it.
Island impossible to encircle in under a day, and so it would be hers.
You know, when he first said encircle, I was picturing like encircling it entirely with boats, not just going around it with a boat. And I was like, yeah, encircling Staten Island in a day with boats. In like circling the entire island of Staten Island in a day with boats in 24 hours, that's probably impossible. But a race around it, just seeing if you can get around it, maybe, I don't know.
But young New York, determined to expand her empire state, thought
New York
she had
is
the
a
man
massive
for the
state.
job. Captain Christopher Billop. The clever captain
Really?
lashed empty barrels to his ship to help catch the wind.
How do barrels help your ship go faster? I'm not a nautical guy. I've always wanted to sail I've always wanted to get into boating. I know, I am very fucking white. But I don't know how barrels are supposed to help you with that.
And 'twas this that made the difference, winning the race against time and encircling the most commodious island of Staten for New York in just over 20...
Apologies for the swear word, by the way. I'm trying to cut down on my swear words and the uhs. I've noticed I do both of them a lot, so I'm trying to cut down on both of them. Can't promise I'll manage to cut down on them both entirely, but I am doing my best. So this isn't a children-friendly channel, because I'm not. That's not who I am. But I'm also trying to cut down on swear words because I swear a lot. So this is actually a helpful way for me to cut down on my swearing, which is weird because on my streams I swear constantly. So balancing act.
3 hours. This delightful deed earned Billop historical immortality in books and articles and on Wikipedia, and the Embiggen New York gifted the captain an estate, on Staten Island of course, that still stands today, a historical museum and park for the local Staten Island Yorkers that...
So his family doesn't live there anymore. That's... I would be kind of upset if I was part of the family and I was like... and someone in my past ended up giving away like the familial estates as a museum. I suppose if you're rich enough or famous or like powerful enough and you had like other estates, it wouldn't be that bad. But I don't know, if my family was like even slightly less off, and then like it's like, oh, like 100 years ago one of your like relatives gave this away as like a thing for like a museum, and it's like, no, That's an ancestral host, though. I don't know. I'd be kind of salty about that, personally. But I'm just a poor peasant, so what do I know?
That, were it not for Billop, would find themselves Jerseyites instead. What a cute...
New Jersey, how much worse than New York? It's their rivalry, I don't know. All I know about New Jersey's Michael from Rooster Teeth and Jersey Shore. That's the most I know about Jersey.
story. So perfect for the video about New York and New Jersey's border disputes I'm working on. But wait, was the 24-hour race around each...
So he started making this video back when he made the New Jersey and the New York's border disputes.
Back in
That
the...
video was a while ago now, wasn't it? No flag, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Brexit Revisited. Where is it? He doesn't produce many... 10 months ago. And so he started doing this 10 months ago, and it took him a while to get to producing this video. He does... Gray has a long turnaround time. I love Gray, but Gray has a long turnaround time.
All islands at once. This wording isn't clear. Might as well ask the museum about the route. I've always...
Museums never get back to you. No one ever gets back to you. I remember I messaged tons of people trying to get, like, information on different essays I'm trying to write, like different psych essays I'm trying to write, and, like, for every, like, 10 people I message, I get, like, one back.
Found
people are ridiculous.
That hometown historians happily honor hometown heroes. Well,
they don't.
No reason to just sit around.
They don't.
Let's follow the footnote trail. New
really
York
don't.
Times, 1913.
That's a old machine.
Trail.
Look at that.
New York Times, 1913.
That's like actual footage reel. Where do you have gone to get one of those? I suppose he'd have to gone into like the actual museum itself.
Okay, Billop gets inspired to put the barrels on his ship. There's great suspense as people await their resident state fate, and Billop took, quote, a little
My dog's named Bentley. The ship.
over 23 hours to complete his journey. That's less than helpful, and it's a newspaper. No sources are listed, just the journalist's name. But she did write a book 6 years later containing much the same story, though the onlookers go from suspense to throbbing
Throbbing, I'm a child.
suspense. And unlike a newspaper, there is a bibliography, yay, but it's not broken down by chapter, boo. I don't really want to go through this. Please tell me the museum.
Bibliographies and all these different things. I both love and hate like AP styles and things like that, but they're so much more helpful than like once you go back to a certain like period of time when it's just like the bibliography is just like whatever they want, and there's no like set standard. It's just like I don't know where anything is. Like you're looking for like different sources, and it's like man, they're half listed sources here. So as much as I hate AP style and all those different things, they're super helpful for that.
Wait a minute, more than 200 years ago. The article says almost 300 years ago. That's nearly 100 years apart. When did this race even happen? Almost 300 years ago from 1913 would be 1620-ish, but New Jersey only became New Jersey in 1664 via a royal charter. Which, does that thing even mention Billop? Why do so many organizations put up these tiny, unreadable GIF versions of their founding documents? Then there's no mention of Billop, or even Staten Island. So the race had to happen after the charter, which means it's no more than 249 years before this article. That's the oldest a source could be. What's the youngest reliable source that might mention the race? Well, the Supreme Court dealt with New York and New Jersey island ownership in the 90s. Does that mention Billop?
Number 120 original, New Jersey against New York.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice, and may it please the court. This was a line not only of territory, but of jurisdiction and sovereignty.
Property means...
This is why I could never do these types of things, these types of videos, because I despise research. It's surprising for a person who's a psychology student. Granted, I got into psychology not expecting so much research. I hate research. It's so dull. I want to die every time I do anything like this. Like every time there's a paper, it's legitimately just like, I like to say I try to do it immediately. I don't. I'm a procrastinator by nature. But it's just like pulling teeth out of myself to try to get me to do this. I like talking to people. I'm a social individual by nature. It's why I stream. It's why I do this. I can't do research. Research and me disagree with each other on a fundamental level. People like Gray are magical. People who are able to just sit down and do it.
Jurisdiction and exclusive jurisdiction doesn't mean exclusive jurisdiction.
Oh.
Well, would there have been a clearer way to say governing authority
Well, I think
than to use the phrase exclusive jurisdiction?
Oh, New Jersey, you're getting wrecked, and it's only just begun.
The United States has exclusive jurisdiction over the original 3 acres of the island.
Exclusive jurisdiction is defined in Article 3 of the Compact, or some other meaning of exclusive?
No, we mean the more conventional description of
Really exclusive jurisdiction.
I got you, New York.
The case is submitted.
What was I doing? Oh, right.
Nothing about Billop here, but they do mention another 1880s Supreme Court situation, but that also makes
I'm just eating popcorn and listening to it. Kind of hilarious.
no mention of Billop. Meanwhile, the museum still hasn't gotten back, and I'm getting suspicious they're avoiding me. But
Yep. As people do when you're like, hey, do you have references for this? And I'm assuming they're like, nah, we don't have references for this. Just ignore them. And it's like, oh, but I really want those references still, please.
there is a history section on the site saying the house was built about 1680, and Christopher Billop was a filthy royal loyal, and his home the site of a failed peace talk between the righteous revolutionaries and the conqueror's crown. A traitor for the video. Sweet. Wait, that's 100 years apart again. Oh, damn it, there's 2 of them. Captain Christopher Billop, 2 L's, 2 P's, and Colonel Christopher Billop, 2 L's, 1 P. The latter the great-grandson of the former, both living on Billop Manor, Staten Island. This has caused much confusion. But Billop the captain died in 1726, so the race had to happen between 1664 and then. Okay, I give up. Let's dive into this. Nothing is consistent. Look, on Wikipedia and in the New York Times, the race took a little over 23 hours, but the Staten Islander, 1911, says the race took exactly 23 hours and 37
I wonder if those other ones just rounded down, or if the Staten Islanders made
minutes.
up
Where
that
did that
information. It's entirely likely that they may have just, like, embellished it a bit, being like, it was totally this time, yeah. We totally didn't make that up, no whatsoever.
And the ship,
not at all.
sometimes she's an Atlantic crossing vessel with...
This, I love history. I love history very much. If history would pay any money whatsoever, I would be a history student instead of a psychology student. But it doesn't, and I don't want to be a teacher. This is also a part of why history is irritating beyond all natural. Also, this is also another reason, because history is all research. But this is also another reason why history is ridiculous for anybody who doesn't love the story of it. It's because history is incredibly inconsistent. Everything's made up. History is one giant made-up fabrication of things where, like, this kind of happened, and this, especially ancient history, it's like this only sort of happened. We only really became good at writing down history in, like, the 1800s. Everything before that, even then, history is just one giant fabrication a lot of the time, because a lot of information gets lost, or the winner writes it. That's especially true for ancient history. Anything before the printing press is just made up, pretty much. It's like, this theoretically happened, or this event happened, we don't know how it happened, or who really was involved, but there's some evidence for why this happened. History is ridiculous like that. It really is. So I understand why people who don't really like history is just like, history makes no sense. And it's like, yeah, you're right.
cannons, and sometimes she's Billop's personal plucky boat, or the manor. In the earliest versions of the story, Billop...
Yeah, see, like, the fact is always true. He did always sail around the island. That's true for all of history. The fact is always true. Like, they did storm that castle. Did it happen at that exact same time? It could have happened 100 years earlier. Who knows? Or they could have just been let in. Or they could have bombarded it with a giant cannon. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. It's just, it happened. When it happened, how it happened, why it happened. That's all up in the air. All we know is that it happened. And all the stories around that are just a bit wonky.
Already lived on the manor, but in later versions it was...
Yeah, there are exact things like this all throughout history where it's like, but didn't he already live there? No, he got it later, but what if... And it's just, yeah, history is full of just consistent inconsistencies. Historians are basically just paid liars. Not really. That's really insulting, actually. Historians are basically just like, this only sort of happened, and we're just gonna make it up as we go along. Is that, especially really, really ancient history? I can't remember. I can't remember the name now, but it's a historian playwright that we use most of our ancient history for I think the Alexander the Peloponnesian Wars that we use. Him mostly, I can't remember his name now, and I'm blanking. But he was basically just a well-known liar and a playwright, and he made things up and made things entertaining. But he's the only source we have for that time, so we just kind of have to go with his information. And it's like, it's entirely plausible. 90% of what he's saying is a lie, but 10% of it might be real. And like what Alexander did is accurate. He did conquer all of that. How, why, and when. But boy, did it happen. Well, no, we do know when. We've gotten pretty good at figuring out when for certain, especially for battles. We've gotten pretty good at figuring out when for battles because of digging things up at theoretical or around when, a couple of years off, give or take sometimes. But we've gotten pretty good at that by digging things up and dating back different like metals and things like that to when they would be realistically built around. But yeah, history's weird. History's full of these
Prize
weird
for his victory,
inconsistencies.
or the barrels in a history.
Still don't know why barrels are. I don't know why barrels make boats go faster. If somebody knows why barrels make boats go faster, please leave them in the comments.
Of Thomas and Anne Billop Farmer and some of their descendants, 1907, there's this paragraph about the exact location where Billop billowed the barrels, but that detail is nowhere else ever mentioned, just here. But in the earlier Morris's Memorial History of Staten Island, 1898, quote, it is said that he covered the deck of his vessels with empty barrels, thus gaining considerable sailing power. The it in it is said, a Weasley phrase if there ever was one, is J.J. Clute, who wrote the Annals of Staten Island 20 years earlier, telling the tale with no barrels at all. And Clute starts his history book saying he spoke to a bunch of old-timers right before they died and got stories out of them to add to the forest of all knowledge that otherwise would have been lost, which is a polite way of saying this is oral history, which is a polite way of saying this is hearsay, which means this
Yeah, that's history. That's it. Yeah, this was oral history. It's entirely plausible that that was all made up. Nobody knows. There is truth to oral history, and there is truth to this story. How much truth is in said story is, it happened. He went around the island in a boat. Everything else is up in the goddamn air. But history. That's all of history. That's all of human history until the printing press, and even a couple of hundred years after the printing press. It took a while for the printing press to really pick up steam when it comes to recording books and things like that. Also, humans have this terrible tendency to burn books, which is the worst thing ever. So much human knowledge is being lost because a bunch of non-bathing idiots burned down things. Granted, the Romans burned down the Library of Alexandria, and they weren't uncouth. It's just humans are idiots. That's one of the things that actually upsets me. The Mongols burning down the Baghdad House of Wisdom, the Romans burning down the Library of Alexandria. There's so many different things like that throughout history, where it's like, how much knowledge was lost? My God! And now we only have oral history and well-known playwrights that are known to be liars as our sources. Hilarious.
This is a here story, which means this isn't history. And so
Well, it is history, because history is just kind of the pieces that we put together. History is made up of interlocking lies, and it's like, that is close enough to the truth, or as close to the truth as we can get it. So just
it is revealed. The tale of the race is cute and perfect because it's a Lady Godiva story, told long after it supposedly happened, and survived the centuries by being clever and cute and evolving to be cleverer and cuterer as it passed along.
Yeah.
It's ye old meme.
Ye old meme.
So much time wasted chasing ghosts. Time to fix the record, and time to let this go. But whose ghost? Tall tales take tellers. Who told the story for the first time, reaching across the centuries to steal hours from my life for the lulz? Okay, I picked up a trail that predates J.J. Clute. There's a New York Evening Post article from 1873 with the race, without the barrels, and where
I like how now he's more from I want to research this to make a video, to I am now angry, and I'm going to research this angrily until I find out the truth of the matter, or until I rage quit and punch a hole in my wall. We've all been, anybody who's ever done any research on any type of topic like this, everybody's reached that point where it's like, I have one of two options. Either I continue and I'm furious and I'm going to get to the bottom of this, or I'm going to punch a hole through the wall. And he looks like he's digging down.
Billop already owned land, by the way, that lists the prime culprit, Reverend Disaway, the local chronicler who told the story. I'm pinning him as the old-timer Clute spoke to for his book that got the story going. There's references to Disaway writing articles for the Richmond County Gazette about this race that never happened. And Staten Island's historical archives have digitized hundreds of volumes, but having gone through them all, there's...
Good God, Gray, you went... Ugh. I tip my hat to you. I'd have punched a hole in the wall.
no articles by Disaway, but there are some missing volumes. Now, look, I don't want to get all conspiratorial here about a history museum that never wrote back or a Staten Island historical archive that just so happens to be missing the couple parts I'm looking for, but I'm in so deep now. I've tracked down the...
Yeah, once you get in so deep, at that point, like, you punch a hole in the wall, and then you're like, okay, I need it. Obviously, the hole in the wall is hyperbole, but you get so far deep, and it's like, I'm so close to the answer. I can't give in. If I give in, it's the sunken cost fallacy. It's 100% the sunken cost fallacy. Where it's like, I've spent so much time, effort, money, pain, blood and sweat and tears. Please, let me find what I'm looking for. There are so many holes in the wall. Sunken cost fallacy. Sometimes it's better to get out while the getting's good.
Only place on Earth with surviving physical copies of the Richmond County Gazette, the New York Public Library, who just so happens to also list the vital volumes as missing. But are they really? Perhaps somewhere in their archive of old and rare books are the missing editions. But alas, I live thousands of miles away. The trail ran cold, but I have the culprit's name. Disaway, 1798 to 1868.
Sorry. Mia, do you mind getting away from my microphone?
Is the first tall tale teller, but the first written records are lost to history. Time to let it go.
And now this is when the museum will get back to him with the information he's looking for, and he's going to want to bash his head through a desk. Yeah, he flies home. He'll fly home. He'll fly back to Europe. And then he'll be like, oh, the museum got back to me. God damn it. Just when I thought I was done, they dragged me back into it. Oh no, he's going to the museum
I
himself.
couldn't let it go. I came to the New York Public Library to
Yeah, he went there himself.
see for myself that Disaway's first story about Billop in the Richmond County Gazette really is missing.
You are a brave man, and you can't let things go. I understand that. We've all been there. Not obviously to this extent, but anybody who's ever researched anything like this, we've all been there, man.
Oh.
You're Abraham, and this is your Moby Dick. That's true, right? It's Abraham in the Moby Dick, I think?
This is it.
Teddy is dumb. Everyone knows this.
The last place with answers. The rare book room. It's really over now. I tried to talk the librarians into letting me into their rare books crypt, and to my great surprise, they said no. Shh. Sorry. But I did get to talk to someone who might just be the world's expert on the Gazette and confirmed to me quite firmly that the lost volumes really are lost. So, this is it, the end of the footnote trail. There's nowhere left to go.
Yeah, obviously he's gonna come here. Obviously he's gonna go try to find the source, yeah.
While I'm here, might as well go to the Billop Museum and talk to the historians who never got back to me.
Yeah.
Ignore my emails? I might just show up.
Oh, has it been closed?
You've got to be kidding me. They closed it?
Due to extreme heat forecast for the weekend, house will be closed. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You're gonna break your phone.
I came all this way and they closed it.
He's gonna break one of their goddamn windows.
Well, at least I know the building is real, though when and why it was built isn't exactly nailed down. And as far as I can know, Captain and Colonel Christopher Billops were real people connected to the founding and freedom of the country. And these hooks on reality probably helped Disaway's tale survive over the centuries, from his mouth to Clute's ear and book, onward to others, and eventually the New York Times, to be sourced in the Wikipedia, to be found, I wish it had never happened, by me. But here, on the southern tip of Staten Island, alone and locked out of Billop's house, it's really the end of the story. Nothing else waits on this island for me, but ghosts and graves.
Ghosts and graves.
Where is it?
He has to find the grave. He has
I know
to
you're
find it. He has to find
You're
it.
somewhere.
Oh, hey, a rainbow.
It's amazing.
He found the grave. Died 1888. No, 1868 or 1883. I don't know. Okay. Interesting. That was a good video. That was a 10 out of 10 video. Why'd you watch that again? Well, no. Maybe I should go through all the great catalog. Anyway, that was fun. Go sub to Greg. Go like all the stuff. Go listen to the Hello Internet podcast. Flaggy flag for life. Sub to me if you like what you saw. Like the video. Leave comments. Make fun of me in the comments. I like when people make fun of me. It's fun. And apart from that, I have been me. You have been you. Try not to die. And yeah. You have a great day. And I'll see you in the next one. Oh, if you have any videos you want me to react to, just tell me. I'm up for whatever. Join the Discord, join my Twitch. All the fun stuff. Bye.